नमस्ते। वेलकम टू हेरिटेज स्टोरीज एंड परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स। आप देख रहे हैं इतिहास के पन्नों से एपिसोड 4 सीजन 3 इतिहास के पन्नों से। आपको और आपके परिवार को नव वर्ष की ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं। And now, a special thank you to all the viewers who join us every Friday and watch our stories and give your response and feedback. And especially thank you for giving your feedback on the video. So do watch out for our viewers' feedback, which is available on the HSPA Facebook page. Very soon we'll have our episodes of Itihaas Ke Pannon Se available to you on the official HSPA YouTube channel. Wow. So you can catch up with all the episodes at any time on YouTube. And now it's time for today's story. We had shared with you two clues for you to guess the state of origin for our story today. Our clue number one was this place is the host for the largest book fair in Asia. And many of you guessed it right, it's Kolkata. Our second clue was that this place is the home to the black hole of India. What is the black hole? Let me tell you a little bit about it. The black hole is a prison in Kolkata in Fort William. And this is where the troops of the Nawab of Bengal held the prisoners of war, held British prisoners of war, on the night of 20th June 1756. And that the size of the prison was 4.3 by 5.5 meters. That dungeon is called the Black Hole of India. Wow, I really didn't know about this black hole. So do keep watching Itihaas Ke Pannon Se and HSPA, such unknown stories from the pages of our history. And today, sharing one such unknown story, all the way from Kolkata, is our storyteller, Priyanka Chatterjee. Let me tell you a little bit about Priyanka Chatterjee. Priyanka Chatterjee, aka Golpu Didi, is an international story consultant, an MBA gold medalist, an alumna of International Institute of Storytelling, Emerson College, UK. She is the director, Storytelling Education and Arts India Council. With 15 plus years experience in Fortune 500 MNCs and leading Indian media house, she founded Wild Strawberry, an art exploration organization. Till date, Wild Strawberry is tasted by more than 1.5 lakh children and 25,000 adults. As Chatterjee has traveled the world with her story bag, containing business story tools, branding tools, design tools, therapeutic tools, communication tools, facilitation tools, and social change agent. So, without further ado, welcoming Priyanka Chatterjee. Welcome to Itihaas Ke Pannon Se, and I hand over the stage to you.
I love the flowers. I love the daffodils. I love the mountains. I like the rolling hills. I love the fireside. When the lights are low. It's December 1930, another day in India, in Kolkata, and I just can't take it anymore. Being here, seeing Charles every day getting tensed, not being able to catch sleep properly. It's really annoying. I'm getting desperate to get out of Kolkata, get out of India. I don't know when is that going to happen. But how long a person can read storybooks? How long I can go for tea parties? How long I can keep listening to these people shouting Vande Mataram when I know that my husband, Mr. Charles Tigard, the police commissioner, the most looked up people in Kolkata, where Chotolat also depends on him, the secretary also depends on him, and forget the queen. Of course, he has to report. I know, but I know how much trouble he takes, and I know he could be a little softer on these people, but he is not. He is always after this anarchist, after these biplobis, and all of them are after his life. I still remember that day when it was I think just 100 days before 25th August, and the operation what do they call it, the Operation Freedom. They have launched this Operation Freedom, and they call it that whichever police officer is actually torturing the biplobis, the revolutionaries, the anarchists inside prison, they are actually, the biplobis are going to shoot them at sight. They call it Operation Freedom. And 25th August, when our IG, Mr. Lohman, he was traveling and he went to Dhaka, to the medical college, to the medical hospital, to visit the wounded police officer. At that very moment, there was this guy, Benoy Krishna Bose, something like that. Benoy Krishna Bose. And this guy was there. He used to be a medical student of this particular hospital itself. And he was there in disguise. He was just wearing his dhoti chappal, and he looked like another Bengali man, just an ordinary man. And he was there inside the same ward where the medical officer was admitted. And Mr. Lohman traveled there, and he put his revolver pointed out to Mr. Lohman, and he was shot dead. And immediately he fled away. He fled away, and nobody could catch Benoy Krishna Bose. And I can imagine if over there was Charles, what would have happened to me? I know Charles is ruthless, and I don't like it at all. I don't understand coming to somebody else's country, ruling over it, taking over it, torturing their people. I don't understand it, but I love Charles. Just 4 days after that, I don't know why I'm saying all this today, but my heart is pounding hard today. It looks like something is going to happen. There are only few months left in Kolkata in his duty, and soon thereafter we will go off to Bilet. We will once again go back to London. But will you be able to sail through safely during this time? I don't know. Just 4 days after that, 29th August, once again, Charles, after all this Lohman episode happened, Lohman was killed. We were tensed. I couldn't sleep. I had to take medicine. I had to take sleeping pills. Charles was traveling by his horse carriage. And little did I know that other than me, somebody is taking such notice of my husband. Every day, this guy, Dinesh Mojumdar, two guys. Dinesh Mojumdar and some Unuja Sen. They every day used to stay outside, used to literally leave outside Lal Bazaar. The police check post, they never noticed them. that every day two guys are coming, every day two guys are watching over my husband's horse carriage, when he is coming inside, when he is going outside, who are the people he is meeting, who is driving his horse carriage, what color is his horse carriage, where exactly the lamp is fit, how big is the window, all of that they have been taking notice. And our police department is such a failure. They couldn't see that. And this day, Charles was traveling in the morning. He every day leaves around 9:30, 9:35. He left at the usual time, exactly at the usual time. And he took some extra time. I think half an hour he was stuck in the traffic near Esplanade, from Esplanade, because the mansion that we live in Kid Street, whenever he goes from here to Dalhousie, it takes him very little time. And little did he gets worried about what I am doing over here. Anyway, that's another thing. Anyway, he was traveling and he was inside the horse carriage. And at that time, there was another carriage just before him, and the horse, the carriage wheel, it has just come out, and the carriage actually got disbalanced, and it stood there for a long time, for half an hour. And thank God the wheel got dismantled, because otherwise I would have lost my husband there. Onuja Sen and Dinesh Mojumdar, they kept waiting. And when finally Charles arrived near Lal Bazaar, they were there. Dinesh and Anuja, they planned to fire the bomb, to shoot the bomb, one after the other at the gap of 5 seconds. And Dinesh took the bomb in his hand and he targeted at my husband's carriage. But just because they were so tensed, because the half an hour was lost and their calculations went wrong. Mother Mary, thank you. Thank you so much that you did that. Dinesh took the bomb in his hand and he took it and he threw it at Charles' horse carriage, and it thankfully hit the bonnet instead of where Charles was sitting. And soon thereafter, there was another sound. The eyewitnesses said they could see that there was a lot of smoke coming out, but that sound that came from somewhere else. It was not from the horse carriage itself. In Onuja Sen's hand itself, the second bomb has bursted. And Charles, I always know that he is so sharp. His reflex is like this. He immediately jumped out of the horse carriage and he went right there. He took his revolver and he started running after this guy, Dinesh Mojumdar, and somewhere he vanished. But at that very moment, Charles noticed that in front of Lal Bazaar, on the footpath, there is a bloodshed body, and the body is all covered in blood and pus and everything. And he went there, and Onuja, right on his face, shouted, with the little breath that was left inside him, Vande Mataram! Vande Mataram! Vande Mataram! And he died in Charles' lap. I heard everything. Charles didn't tell me the entire story, but I heard everything. And Charles knows about my health condition, and he knows that I want to leave. I don't want to stay here after all that has happened. Who do I have other than Charles? But I don't know. After this, every day I fear that whether he has reached the office safe and sound, when he is going to the meeting, whether he is safe and sound, and when he comes back home, I wait with all my heart. But But today is so different. I can't tell you how different it is. Anyway, I have to pass time. I love the flowers. I love the daffodils. What time is it? Uh, he must have reached the office by now. I should call him. Yeah, darling. Darling, you have reached the office safe and sound? Wow. Yeah, no. I'm perfectly all right. No. Don't get worried. No, I'm okay. Yeah, yeah. Take your medicines at time, okay? And I will call you just before your lunch. Yeah. Uh, yes. You don't have any meetings today outside? That's a great news. You are safe inside Lal Bazaar. And I always wish you send your subordinates for meetings. They are very capable enough. You should take care of yourself, Charles, because you know you have only few months left in India, and I don't want to get into any trouble. Uh, you are getting another call? Okay, okay, sure. Take care, take care. Little did I know that what was happening parallelly. Just after I hung up the phone, a call came in Charles's office. And it was from Writers Building, the headquarters where all the officers, all the clerks, all the British people who had to report to the headquarters, all of them sat there. And all the official work that used to operate throughout the whole India used to take place over there. And it was just next to Lal Bazaar, just a stone's throw away. And a call came from there. And Charles got frozen after that call. This time, it's not Charles. This time, it's not outside Lal Bazaar. This time, it's right inside British headquarters, Writers Building, where nobody can ever imagine that even a fly can get inside. The security is so strong. But today it did. Three musketeers, three comrades, three anarchists, as my husband says. They came perfectly disguised in the European dress with the proper hat, prim and proper, shaved, all shaved, looking good, as if they're just fresh ICS. Freshly returned from London, all set to start their work in the writers, all set to rule their own people. And they were right getting inside through the doors of writers. And the sepoys thought these are the new officers. They looked at each other and they exchanged glances, and immediately they said, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. And Benoy Krishna Bose, I hope you remember, the same guy, the same medical student who left his studies for Biplav, for revolution. He fled from Dhaka and he was hiding for 4 months. And today, 8 December, he once again came out from shadows, came out from nowhere, and he came right inside writers with two of his fellows, Badal Gupta and Dinesh Gupta. And you must be wondering, how old are they? It's a shame. It's a shame. They're half my age, in their early 20s. Benoy Krishna Bose, such a wonderful fella, 22 years. Badal Gupta, the youngest of the lot, 18, and Dinesh going to be 20. Just 19. Less than half my age, actually. and they don't worry at all about their lives. They enter the place where the British realize themselves the most, that is their place, nobody can enter there, and they entered right through the gate. And they looked at the sepoys as if the most filthy people, the most filthy Indians, because now they, in spite of being Indians, they're British officers. They can rule their own people. They had that in their body. They had that in their disguise. And they knew that in Operation Freedom, they had to torture that person, punish that person, liquidate that person that has liquidated somebody else, that has tortured the Biplobis, the revolutionaries. And that was N.S. Simpson. And he used to, his office was on the first floor in the passport department. And he was infamous for torturing the revolutionaries inside the prison. He was the IG prison after Loman has been dead. And he was inside his office. Benoy Krishna Bose, Badal Gupta, Dinesh Gupta, they climbed up the stairs as if they're the most prominent gentlemen. And they were going through the corridor. And they exchanged glances with the other officers as if they have been knowing this place since eternity. They entered, they opened the swing door of Simpson's office. They went inside. Simpson was right there, and his Mukho Shochiv, the JC, I'm forgetting his name, JC Guho, I think. So many names, so many officers. I don't understand what these people are doing here, thousands of miles away from their motherland, serving just their queen, who is always sitting there in London itself. Anyway, still my heart is pounding so hard, I can't tell you. Whenever I think of this incident, I get goosebumps. Simpson was sitting right there, and his PA was standing, and these three guys, they entered through the swinging door, and they pointed their revolvers, 3 of them. And the postmortem report said 6 bullets went past their lungs, Simpson's lungs. 6 bullets from the 38 bore rifle. But do you think they stopped there? And why do you think I am telling all this story? My husband is safe there inside Lal Bazar, and all this is happening in Writers. But we cannot forget, my husband is responsible for everything that is happening here. He's the police commissioner, and he was immediately called when there was the sound of this gunfire. And that was the call that came when I was talking to him. Little did I know. Anyway, these guys came out in the corridor, and they wanted to charge other people. They wanted to kill more people, but they were so conscious. They were not killing Indians. Even though the Indians were serving for the British, they were very sure they are killing the British people. And why wouldn't they? We deserve it. We have tortured them from last 200 years. But today is so different. Today is so different. They came inside in the corridor itself, and over there they started shooting, and God knows how many rifles and revolvers were right there loaded inside their suit and boots. They were taking one after the other, and they were shooting continuously, and big holes were being made on the walls. And one after the other officer, they were being shot dead, or they were getting wounded. Blood was oozing everywhere from their skin and from their flesh, and bodies were lying on the corridor. And at that time, my husband came with Mr. Craig, Mr. Jones, Mr. Forbes, and all of them entered with a huge force from Lal Bazar. And it was not too late because the revolutionaries were still there. They were still fighting with their limited amount of bullets and machineries. It's so strange. A building full of officers and 3 people with limited supply. And Charles is always known for his courage. Charles jumped out of his carriage and immediately he came through the stairs. He jumped through the stairs and he started firing from behind the wall. And now it looked like a real war, because still now it was almost unbalanced. These 3 were getting very strong, even though there were many on the other side. But Charles, one person, is alone. But he is capable to take care of the 3. And his brain, I can't tell you, he always tries to manipulate me as well. But he is a great manipulator in his professional life as well, which always goes for his advantage, of course. He guided his subordinates that they shouldn't stop firing, because the moment they stop firing, there will not be any firing from the other side. And the limited supplies cannot end. But the sole goal would be to end the limited supplies. So they kept firing from this side. And immediately answer came from the other side. Firing from here, firing from here. This continued for such a long time. And gradually, the bullets over here, the supplies over here were getting limited. And Benoy looked at Badal and Dinesh and smiled and said, whatever you do, keep at least 1 bullet left. We don't want to be caught in the British's hands. No, we won't. We are fighters. Vande Mataram. Keep the last bullet for yourself. Benoy, Badal and Dinesh, they nodded. And this was the last bullet. But Dinesh was so excited that he was about to charge the last bullet of the officer coming right towards them. And Badal stopped. And Badal was the one who charged. And the last bullet was lost. And they knew this is the time they have to say goodbye, because they don't want to give away the names of their fellow people, fellow revolutionaries. I wish our people were like this dedicated, feeling so much for their people, not leaving their own motherland for the sake of some stupid job. Anyway, they were cornered. They were already outnumbered, as I said, and they were cornered in one particular room. And 3 of them were inside. And Badal has lost the last bullet. Badal opened the little sheet of paper, and inside there was the thing that shouldn't be named: potassium cyanide. He took just a little of it and licked it. And that was it. Dinesh also tried, but he immediately vomited. He couldn't be killed. He took out his revolver and shot at his neck. And now it was turn for Benoy. Benoy took his revolver, Vande Mataram, and shot in his own forehead. But alas, I don't know why my heart goes to these people. They are not even my people. But alas, when Charles went inside this room, he saw Benoy was not dead yet. Dinesh was not dead yet. Only Badal has passed away. And he has had a hunch that this is the Benoy Krishna Bose that he has been looking for since 25th of August, when he has killed Loman and fled away. What is your name, young man? Benoy Krishna Bose. Vande Mataram. And Charles, with all his anger, with all his frustration, when he learned that this is the Benoy Krishna Bose, he put his boots on Benoy's hands. And he started stumbling and thrashing on the hand with his boots, his pointy toes, and the rough ankle, and all of Benoy's fingers. Even before he was dead. Charles guided his subordinates to take Benoy and Dinesh to Calcutta Medical College. And they are there right now. I am here. I have been informed about all this. And I don't know how to handle the situation, seriously. Next day, 9th of December. Outlines on every newspaper. Outrage in Calcutta rather. Terrorist raid, British officer murdered. Statesman, orderly of the DPI was wounded in leg. Passerby were dumbfounded to see in broad daylight in the heart of the business quarters of Calcutta an incident that had all the elements of a Chicago gunning affair. Amrita Bazar Patrika, 9 December 1930. Holes near the gates of Mr. Nelson's room and another at the ceiling of Mr. Prentice's room were found later on. Holes were that of the size of tennis ball. They dashed into passport office and reloaded their revolvers there. One American missionary, Mr. E.S. Johnson, waiting in that office, out of fear, made his escape down with the help of a drain pipe. Everybody is reporting about all this. Nobody, forget it. Hello, Charles. Have you reached office? Yes, darling, I'm okay. Yes, I'm okay. 5 days passed. 13th December, 1930. I wish I had this much courage. Benoy Krishna Bose, you remember, he was shot in the forehead. He was still in Calcutta Medical Hospital, under treatment, of course. And he was a medical student earlier when he left his dream career for revolution, for serving the motherland. So he knew about how the body operates, what is not good for the body and what is bad for them, what is good, what is not good, all of that. He took his own finger and he poked at the place where he has been shot. And soon thereafter, septicemia followed. Benoy Krishna Bose died in Calcutta Medical College itself. You must be wondering what happened to Dinesh. Dinesh survived only to be hanged. His good fortune, however, was that he could meet Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose while in jail. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, the same person who launched Operation Freedom, the same person who has been hurt by N.S. Simpson. And that was one of the reasons why Benoy, Badal and Dinesh, they came and launched the attack in writers. Of course, that was not the only reason, because they also wanted to create terror. They wanted to make it a statement that we came inside the British's own house, own safety, and we killed them over there. By the way, Dinesh, while awaiting execution, Dinesh wrote a number of letters from his prison cell on the heroism of the revolutionaries and his belief about the greatness of self-sacrifice. Vinay later was hanged in Alipur jail itself, 7th July 1931. I'm still stuck here. Counting days, not knowing the future. And strangely, my heart goes for these killers, the convicts, the assassins. My heart also goes for my husband. I want him to be safe and sound. We need to leave this country very soon. Once again, the same sound, Vande Mataram. I can't take it anymore. God save me. I love the flowers. I love the daffodils. I wish I had the courage like Benoy, Badal and Dinesh, and I could make a statement to my husband. Don't do it anymore. Don't be hard on these people. I wish. But not all wishes to come true. I love the flowers. I love the daffodils. Thank you. And namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Priyanka, for getting the story of the corridor warfare to Itihaas Ke Pannon Se. And thank you for sharing that story here. It's very interesting the perspective that you brought in, that of the wife of a British officer. And through her eyes, how the entire thing is unfolding. I think that was very interesting. How she's supporting the entire movement of the Indians. At the same time, she's also feeling sorry for her husband. And how you have connected I wish I could say I had the courage too of Benoy, Bose and Dinesh and, Badal. And it is so, it is really heartwarming to see that, how you have brought about the entire thing. So, yeah, please share how you felt when you came across the story and, how you brought it to us in this format.
Yeah, it's quite a journey, actually, because whenever I didn't hear about Charles Taggart previously. All that was known to me was Benoy Badal Dinesh, because Benoy Badal Dinesh, the acronym will be BBD. And BBD Bagh is a famous place in Kolkata. Until I was 12 years old, I never knew what it meant. But I used to cross that place, like I used to be there at least once in a week, but hardly I knew about the history. And then it appeared just as a paragraph in our history page, history book. Just a paragraph, 3 lives. And I don't know how many more lives they have inspired. Because if you see, uh, all this revolutionary movement, uh, mm, all this might seem disconnected, but none of this are disconnected.
Not
They
at
have
all. Not at
not
all.
at all, because they have very strong correlation with the other revolutionaries, the revolutionary movement across India. They were not at all isolated incidents. The Biplobi groups from Delhi, from Lahore, UP, Maharashtra, Bengal, all were in close touch with each other. And as now we are connected via social media,
I was
imagine there
about
was
to
no
say
social
that.
media.
And still, it was so strong and it was also together in tandem. It was amazing.
Exactly, because they were often coordinated. Remember, I told about what happened in Dhaka and then what happened in Kolkata. So imagine the distance, but everything was pre-planned, and they often coordinated their operations. And Benoy, Badal, Dinesh, the heroes from this famous, they call it Battle of Veranda.
Mm.
Veranda meaning balcony or corridor. Battle of Veranda. That's how it is famous in the history. They picked up from where Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, and Rajguru left off. Afterwards, others also came forward to carry their mantle, and thus continued the struggle. Hence, looking at Binoy, Badal, and Dinesh in isolation won't at all do justice to their true legacy.
I'm sure, I'm sure. And
Yeah,
also, it reminded me, when you talked about him throwing the bomb on the carriage, it reminded me of Khudiram, who was the first person to actually use a bomb. Khudiram was the first person to use a bomb, which was, much, much earlier than the 1930s. And it's all connected, like you said. So you have something to share with us, I believe. You have some pictures and some documents that, will give the viewer a visual to that, please. We look forward to.
absolutely. I would love to do that because Dalhousie Square is renamed as BBD Bagh. And I uh, often love to visit it even now, because over there, that particular place, because it was the British headquarters, all of the colonial buildings used to be there. And
Hmm.
this is how the writers building looks like right
Today.
now,
Okay.
today. But if you look at 1930, this is how it looked like. And just right next to it, if you see the facade here, right
Hmm.
next to it is Lal Bazar. There is just a little gap, and then Lal Bazar, from where Charles Tegart, my husband in the story,
Police
he came.
commissioner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
police commissioner. He came and
Mm.
struck at the revolutionaries. This is my husband in the story, Charles Tegart, whom I love, but whom I hate as well. And he has been placed in Palestine in 1938. He was never killed. He has killed many, many people, but he was never killed. He was never assassinated. And he and his wife both traveled safely back to London.
Mm. Like you said, he was a manipulator, so I'm sure that helped him in keeping himself and his family safe.
If yeah. And this is Dinesh at the left, who shot himself in the neck but somehow survived. And this picture was taken just few days before he was being hanged, few days before 7th July. He was tortured like anything inside the prison, but he didn't give up any details. Uh, and another story might follow after this, how his death inspired another assassination by Kanailal Bhattacharya, because Kanailal killed the judge who has given the decision that Dinesh Gupta needs to be hanged till death.
It's
So
all
that's
connected.
all
It's all
connected.
connected.
Yeah. So the next one is Badal Gupta, who was so excited that he actually spent the last bullet, and that's why he had to take cyanide, potassium cyanide, and somehow he survived. Like he didn't survive. He was the lucky one. And Benoy, who was the leader in this particular operation. And next picture, I know we won't be liking it, but I just couldn't help because the right side, the right picture, that is of Benoy Krishna Bose.
His
His
eyes.
eyes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Like look at the blood in his forehead, and he's shot in his head, like between the forehead and the head. And his eyes, like, it pierced through me. So I
Yeah.
just couldn't help, you know.
No, I think it's important also to see that. And it's
Yeah.
like a junoon. I wonder if all of us today have that kind of junoon for our country. I just wish, it would um, be more visible in the good deeds that we do.
I bet the lives would be different,
I'm sure it would have.
because this is the 90th year after this incident, and this is the forensic report. This had the picture of this particular corridor in writers, all bloodshed. This is Simpson's room, and this is Simpson, who was shot dead with 6 bullets. And now this has been recreated
Hmm.
like this. Uh, and this is a place where I was, the police museum at Maniktola in Kolkata, where the revolvers of these 3 revolutionaries are preserved, and other documents as well. But how many of us do visit these places? And these are living stories. These stories needs to be told and retold. So somewhere I feel not only a statue that is there, the statue is right there outside the writers, commemorating whatever uh, great deed these 3 people have done, have contributed towards Indian independence. But it's just a statue. If you look at BB Bagh, many it's many people will be able to say perhaps the full names, but if you ask the next question, what did they
What did
do?
they do?
uh, Hardly, maybe the number will reduce from 100 to 50. The next question, if you ask, what about Dinesh Mojumdar and Onuja Sen? Because they also tried to kill Charles Tigard, right? Where are they in the history? Nowhere to be seen and found until you research. So somewhere we need to perhaps look beyond these statues and tell these stories more and more.
Hopefully,
And
Itihaas Ke Pannon Se is going to play a major role in that in the future as well. Where you're bringing
absolutely.
stories of our unsung heroes, and thank you for bringing this story on our platform. Yes, please go ahead.
And this is, I'm sure Itihaas Ke Pannon Se is doing great. And that is why this BBD Bagh, can you see the
Yes.
name written at the right? Right now it is there on the minibuses, on the buses, whichever is flying through the particular road. And
Mm.
that's all. But
Mm.
this should be the future.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And this is
Superheroes,
not,
many such superheroes.
yeah, this is not only about Benoy Badal Dinesh. The superheroes of India remains the same. The name remains the same, but there can be Khudiram Bose. There can be Bhagat Singh. All of them. There can be Profullo Chaki. How many people we know? Pritilata Waddedar, the Master the Shurjo Sen. The list will go on and on. But
From each state. I mean, these names you have mentioned are maybe from one small part of Kolkata
exactly.
or one small part of the state. But there are so many such unsung heroes. Like you said, the names will change, but I'm sure the what they did will forever stay. So thank you so much, Priyanka, for bringing the story. And we have with us other storytellers as well here, and friends who, if you want to join in and share something, please feel free to do that. Yes, I think that's Deepjani and Poonamji.
Yeah, I think Poonam just left, but
Okay, okay.
Yeah. At first, I just wanted to say, excellent story, because this is the story that we have grown up listening to, being from Kolkata. But initially when I looked at Priyanka, I thought she's going to talk about Nivedita. I mean, the way she has dressed and all.
Okay.
yeah.
And then I thought, what? I was just kind of trying to understand before she reveals. what she's going to play. And then it came that, oh, so she, this isn't really, it intrigues me to see a story from a completely, another perspective. So we have grown up listening to Benoy Badal Dinesh's story, this corridor warfare, whatever. All this we have. But now, when she is telling it from the perspective of a British woman, the whole thing is, as if putting yourself away and seeing your thing, and then it is glorified even more. Like, so I
Like how
loved
she has
this.
expressed. Yes.
Yes, yes. It's like a seeing it from a different what would I say, an
Point of view.
angle, point of view, and then that is giving it is increasing its
Yeah. The pride that you
stature.
feel for them is increased because she's given it from another perspective, where that woman is
Completely.
actually saying that I wish I could see this kind of, love for the country and my people. So yeah. So thank you once again. And with that, I think I'll quickly, take leave from our viewers who have been with us for the past hour. So thank you for watching Itihaas Ke Pannon Se. And like we keep saying, do share, like, follow. These are stories that need to be told and shared. And today was one such another story that is shared. Do join us next week for our episode 5 of season 3. So with that, taking leave from the live audience on Facebook. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, the
Bye.
Itihaas Ke Pannon Se and Heritage Stories and Performing Arts. It was a
Thank you,
great.
Priyanka, for joining us. Thank you so much.